Hello, everybody. Sometimes people ask, how do I pass this speaking and listening exam? And I say, well, haven't you been listening to my tips? Speak good English and do the bits of grammar and vocabulary that they ask you for. But if you really want it in detail, the boxes that they have to tick fit into 12 different criteria. And in the four parts of the exam, you normally get two chances to pass each one, and you only need to pass it one time out of two. Okay, so if you get it wrong once, it doesn't matter, you still get another chance. Or if you already got it right in one part, you don't need to pass it again, but it doesn't hurt if you do. Okay, there is one of the criteria, 4.4, which asks you to use a range of questions. That one comes up three times in part one, part two, and part three. Okay, so let's look at each part of it. In part one, the personal information questions, they're asking you to listen for a detail, to follow instructions. They're listening for good pronunciation and for using a range of questions. So, your personal information questions, you're going to need to follow up what the other person said. I live in the centre of Bedford. Oh, the centre of Bedford, isn't it a bit noisy? Something like that. Okay. Follow the instructions. Yeah, ask personal information questions. Don't ask what is the meaning of life or was the royal family responsible for the death of Princess Diana? Okay, pronunciation. The video that you looked at on YouTube, the Chinese lady in Liverpool, she passed. So they're not asking for perfect pronunciation. They know you've got an accent. Part two, in the presentation talk with the questions afterwards, you are listening for the general idea of what somebody's talking about. Again, when you speak, it's your presentation. The style of the language that you choose, is it appropriate for the audience? And then we get into the range of tenses and grammatical structures. So show off your grammar a little bit. Good structure. Does it have a logical start, middle, and end? And do you connect your ideas, after that, next? On the other hand, it depends on what your subject is, of course. Have you used a good range of vocabulary? Have you used a lot of adjectives? Is your presentation very descriptive? You also need to listen and react and ask others some questions and listen and add to others' comments, which is kind of managing a discussion, we could say. And again, a range of questions. The role play is asking you to follow the right instructions. If they say you have lost a bag, don't tell them you found a bag. The style of the language, is it a formal occasion or is it informal? And again, the things that we talked about earlier, using different bits of grammar, vocabulary, and connecting your ideas. Also, to make a plan together and a range of questions. Finally, in the listening discussion and making a plan part, again, the two questions that you get, the first question, yes, no, is listening for gist, and the detailed questions come later. So that's how you pass that part in the listening part. And then after that, listen, react, and ask others. That will be listening to your partner's ideas. Add to your partner's ideas, good idea. We could also blah, 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 and make a plan together. Okay, so you get two chances at each of the 12 criteria, except for number 4.4, where you get three chances. Okay, you can't remember all that while you're doing your exam. So just when you're planning what you're going to say, think about these things. But in the exam, relax, do your best, and I'm sure you'll pass. Okay.